Welcome to the Penalty Box.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Penalty Box podcast. I'm going to be completely honest, I've recorded this intro like 8 times. I'm not exaggerating. Today just does not seem to be an English day for me, but we're going to keep it going. And I'm going to start off by saying a couple things. One, I still haven't found my mic yet, so the audio quality is probably not going to be that amazing. I'm sorry. 2, if you hear noises outside and just noises, it's because it is only 9 in the morning. Normally I film at night when it's quiet, but currently there's a meeting going on in the room next to me. There's Amazon drivers, all of that. So I don't know how much you can hear. Hopefully not that much. But now that we get that out of the way, we get to talk about how we hit 21,000 followers on Instagram, which is so incredible. I am so beyond thankful and grateful. Thank you guys. It means a lot because we really do work so hard around the clock on all the content, the articles, the graphics, the podcast, the merch, all that. So it means a lot that people actually like it. And then the fact that people actually listen to this podcast, I know I've said it 100 times, but when I started this, I genuinely thought maybe 3 people would listen, max. I'm not even kidding. I didn't, if you told me this many people would, I forgot to mention, we have 40,000 listens in the past month. So we are going up 10K, which is crazy. I don't even remember what I was saying before. It's so insane that we are here together. I don't know. I'm just taking it all in. Anyway, for our intro, we are going to be talking about something pretty freaking great that has happened over the past week. And it actually started happening right around the time I was filming the last episode, but I didn't want to jinx anything, so now I can talk about it. We were able, the Penalty Box team, we have a press team in the Boston area comprised of 3 of us so far, and we were able to get media passes to the first ever PWHL playoffs, which not only once, by the way, so far 3 times. The playoffs are still going on. We have gone either 3 or 4 times. I don't remember, but I have only gone once. I have let the other members go because they do so much for me and they deserve the experience, but it was incredible being in the press box. It was such a cool experience. Everyone was so nice. It was just awesome. I mean, Boston did get shut out, so that was pretty rough, but you have to remain neutral in the media box, so nobody could know that I was suffering. But anyway, I'll tell you guys all about it right now because you know I like to yap, and I know you guys like to hear me yap. If you're listening to this, I think you do. Anyway, so I go with my friend and our creative director, Delaney, and we head on over to UMass Lowell where Boston is playing Minnesota, and it was awesome. We went right in. We got our passes, which are these beautiful purple passes that say PWHL playoffs, media. And then we went right to the media box or media area and got seated, and it was awesome. We got popcorn and soda and water and all of that, and it was really nice. They had our little name cards laid out, and we had an amazing view. It was just incredible. It was really surreal to be there from a working perspective because we did get free tickets, which is incredible. I am so thankful. So I really almost got a little too emotional a couple times because, I've been through a lot with my chronic illness, my mental health, just all of that. So being there and knowing that I built this, I do have a team, but I started it from the ground up. I built my reputation, my obviously my social media, my skills, my editing, all that by myself. And everyone used to make fun of me in high school. People would always be like, how many followers did you buy today? Just stuff like that. And I would always just get made fun of. And to be here growing like this every single day is incredible. It just feels surreal, and it's kind of I guess karma, but not by JoJo Siwa. Anyway, So it was great. There were sing-offs. They sang Kesha, Britney Spears, Taylor Swift. No Tate McRae. I was a little upset about that. But it was great. There were so many people in PWHL jerseys and like women's sports tops. It was incredible. And hearing like full-grown men yell like, "Let's go girls," it was so fun. It was very, very packed considering it was on a Tuesday night, the night I went. I was actually very shocked, especially because if you're not from Boston or Massachusetts, Lowell is not the loveliest place, respectfully. I personally hate it. Like, my ex lived in that area for school. I hated it. I literally went once to his apartment. He would always come here because I was like, I'm not doing that. It is just not the area for me. So the fact that many people showed up in Lowell, it was awesome. And also there was this different like aura. Like the second you got to the stadium and there were all these girls and people with the jerseys on, smiling, it was just like you could feel the good vibes. So anyway, we were able to create some awesome posts for you guys on our Instagram and give you exclusive content and media access and just behind the scenes stuff. So that was amazing. And I also got a playoff towel and a playoff puck, which I never thought in my wildest dreams I would ever get. So the fact that I have all that in my past, I can't stop looking at them. Like, they're hung up in my room. Anyway, that is our update for our little intro. And we are going to get into our playoff update. We are currently in the West Coast and East Coast Conference Finals. The Dallas Stars are going to be up against the Edmonton Oilers, and the Florida Panthers lead the New York Rangers 1-0. The teams that have been eliminated so far include Vegas Golden Knights, Winnipeg Jets, Tampa Bay Lightning, Toronto Maple Leafs, Nashville Predators, LA Kings, Washington Capitals, New York Islanders, Colorado Avalanche, Boston Bruins, Carolina Hurricanes, and the Vancouver Canucks. The Canucks being eliminated was honestly such a big loss, because, I mean, it was their first time in the playoffs in so long, and they really did make it pretty far, so that was pretty impressive. Good for them. I know we obviously wish that all our teams could win the cup, but I would be proud if I was a Canucks fan. I'm a bandwagon Canucks fan, if you know what I mean, during the playoffs. I don't have any hatred towards them in general, though, so that's also good. I am also happy that the Panthers are leading against the Rangers, because I am so sorry. Listen, every day I see something that makes me like the Rangers, and then I see, actually that's such a lie. Okay, I like once a month I see something that makes me like the Rangers, and then I don't again. So I'm not changing my stance on that. I am Team Panthers in this scenario, which is kind of crazy because the Panthers are the team that have eliminated the Bruins the past 2 years, which is freaking annoying. All right, let's head into our hockey hot topics, starting off with some great news, and it is that Jasper Bratt is engaged. If you didn't know, Jasper Bratt is on the New Jersey Devils. He is a forward, and he just got engaged this week to his partner, Nicole Laud, I believe that's her name. He proposed on vacation in Turks and Caicos, which is, oh my gosh, so dream. This is such a girly like little segment, and I love it because I love. But they posted it on Instagram and they captioned it "Forever" with a white heart emoji. We here at the Penalty Box wish Jasper and Nicole so much luck and love and happiness, and that is always so exciting to have a wedding thrown into the mix. I feel like since it's summer, there's going to be a lot of engagements, babies and pregnancies and all of that because it's off season. Anyway, speaking of the New Jersey Devils, we actually got a new head coach, and he is none other than Sheldon Keefe. And if that name sounds familiar, it's because Sheldon Keefe was the coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and he was just fired from them 2 weeks ago. This official announcement was made on the 23rd, which is when I am recording this, and Keefe is the fifth coach of the Devils since 2019, and then the third since March, which is crazy. Lindy Ruff, as we know, was recently fired, but even by doing that, the Devils did not make it to the playoffs, unfortunately. So who knows, maybe Sheldon Keefe will be perfect for the Devils, but something I don't really understand is why teams fire a coach and then another team hires them. Because weren't they fired for a reason, you know what I mean? Like Lindy Ruff being hired by Buffalo, now Sheldon Keefe being hired by New Jersey. I don't know. Maybe he can prove us all wrong and be incredible. Obviously, I wish him the best because he's kind of coaching my team, but we shall see. This is Keefe's second head coach job, and he, like I mentioned, he spent time with the Maple Leafs, and he spent 4 seasons with them, so he has 4 seasons under his belt. Speaking of the Leafs, though, they actually hired a new coach, and I cannot say this man's name. I can't. His name is Craig Berube, I think, but he's the new coach, and he is officially the 40th coach of the Maple Leafs, and it is very hard to find anybody who says anything bad about this man. He seems to be a great guy all around, which is awesome. Devils, we should have picked up on that, but the Toronto Sun says that, quote, he knows how to build a team from the inside. The key word being team. Not one player, not one star, no core 4 in Berube's world, a team, end quote. So I love that. I genuinely agree with that as well. It's awesome to actually agree with a coach. I feel like a lot of the times fans don't agree, so I don't know. We shall see once again. I don't want to jinx anything. Now, as you guys know, we here at the Penalty Box love the PWHL, and I am going to dive into it really quick and just kind of update you on what has been going on because we are in the final round of the Walter Cup final. So the Walter Cup is the PWHL's version of the Stanley Cup. We have covered this in other episodes, but for the Walter Cup final matchup, number 3 and 4 seeds, which are Boston and Minnesota, are playing each other. And surprisingly, they both were considered underdogs, and nobody really thought they were going to win against the top 2 teams in the league in their respective semifinals. But instead, Boston absolutely swept Montreal, and Minnesota had a comeback against Toronto. And let me tell you, I had faith in Boston because obviously I am from Boston, but I did not expect the Minnesota beating Toronto. As you guys know, or if you didn't, I've said this before on the podcast, Toronto is my other favorite PWHL team. So I gotta be honest, I'm happy and I'm sad. I'm happy because I don't want to see Boston versus Toronto, but I'm sad because it would be nice to see Toronto make it to the final round. But regardless, still incredible that they are a part of this historic experience, just even being in the first PWHL ever. But the odds for the game were so close. Boston had a 48% chance of a Walter Cup win, and Minnesota has a 52% chance. Right now, as I am recording this, it is 1 win versus 1 win. They are tied in the series, so I don't want to jinx it. I don't know who's going to win, but I am crossing my fingers for Boston, but once again, I'm genuinely happy for every team. Next up is the fact that the Oilers actually eliminated the Canucks with a 3-2 win in Game 7 on Monday. And granted, I do like both of these teams. I am sad for the Canucks because I know it is a big year for them. They haven't made it this far in a long time. You know, it's sad. But Zach Hyman, who I love, he scored his NHL leading 11th goal of the playoffs. And of course, Leon Drysdale had an assist to extend his postseason opening point streak to 12 games for Edmonton. And they are actually the number 2 seed from the Pacific Division. Connor McDavid actually said, quote, "It's exciting to be a great Vancouver team. They're a really great team. It wasn't too long ago, a couple months ago, we were sitting here doing an interview talking about losing 8-1 in the season opener. They had our number, and it feels good to come out on top. It was a tight series, a passionate series. Both fan bases going crazy. It's fun to come out on top," end quote. The Oilers are going to play the Dallas Stars in the Western Conference Final, and the first game is actually tonight on Thursday, so by the time you're listening to this, there will have been a game, so I don't know who won, the Oilers or the Stars. I don't know. Let me put in a prediction since I'm filming this before. God, that's hard. I kind of think Oilers. I'm going to say Oilers for today, for this first game, I think. But yeah, that's my prediction. It is currently 9:40 in the morning. Anyway, next up, we are going to talk about how the Predators traded Ryan McDonagh back to the Lightning, and I'm sorry if I butcher anyone's names. For our newbies here, for our rookies, during the offseason, a lot of trades happen because it's the offseason, so it's the best time to get players from teams to teams and to train and get used to one another. And so you are going to be hearing a lot of trade updates throughout these next few months, which they are exciting, but they are also extremely stressful. And maybe I will film an episode about like the trades and all that coming up soon. But anyway, the Tampa Bay Lightning, they got reunited with Ryan McDonagh on Tuesday, which was 2 days ago. And they actually traded a 2025 second round draft choice and a 2024 seventh round draft choice for McDonagh and a 2024 fourth round pick. There we go. McDonagh was traded back in July for 2 players, and it was an important trade, and it was necessary because, whoa, voice crack, I am so sorry, but because of their salary cap. But he does have 2 years remaining on his contract, which means he will be with the Lightning through at least the 2025 to 2026 season. As you guys know, here at the Penalty Box, we absolutely love the PWHL and the NHL, of course. And as you can tell by the title, we are going to be talking about how the PWHL differentiates from the NHL. But before we dive into that, for my rookies, PWHL stands for Professional Women's Hockey League, and NHL stands for National Hockey League. All right? Got it. Perfect. So first, here's a little bit of a background. The PWHL uses rules from both the NHL and the IIHF, which is the International Ice Hockey Federation. And they kind of combined these two to make their own rule book. But their senior vice president of hockey operations, Jana Hefford, she stated that, quote, "The league has embraced the opportunity to innovate how the game is played. During the preseason, the PWHL experimented with rule adaptations, and now we're seeing some of these changes in action," end quote. One of the most obvious differences is the point system. In the NHL, every team gets 2 points for a win, whether it's in regulation or overtime, and 1 point for an overtime loss. The PWHL, on the other hand, has adopted this 3-2-1-0 point system. And here's how it works. So you get 3 points for a regulation win, 2 points for an overtime or shootout win, 1 point for an overtime loss, and 0 points for a regulation loss. And this system is said to put more emphasis on winning in regulation time, while still, acknowledging the effort of making it to overtime. So that is our first little difference. The second difference is shootouts. Now, in the NHL, the shootout is a best-of-3 format, and if no one wins after 3 shots, it's just sudden death, and each player can only shoot once until all the players have had a turn. Now, the IIHF, they allow players to take another shot after 5 players have participated. The PWHL has opted for a best-of-5 shootout where there's no winner after 5 shots. It just goes to sudden death. But there is this interesting twist where players can shoot again without limitations, meaning that each player can actually take multiple attempts if they really need to. So that's actually crazy to think about. Another intriguing change is related to their penalty rules. Traditionally, in the NHL and most other leagues, a penalty continues to be served even if the shorthanded team scores a goal. But the PWHL is switching this up. If a team serving a minor penalty scores a shorthanded goal, the penalty is terminated. And I personally think this is so exciting. I mean, I love it and I hate it. I feel like it could be really frustrating because it's like, dang it, we could use that extra time. But I also like it. It makes it a little more competitive, and we love to see that. Another difference is the fact that in the NHL, they actually have team names, like the Boston Bruins, the Toronto Maple Leafs, And I think they made sure every team had names because of the fact that they had two teams in Montreal. But regardless of that, as we know, the NHL has names, and I love the PWHL. I'm sorry, but I hate that they don't have names. All 6 teams just have their location. No nicknames, no mascots, nothing. And personally, I was talking about this with Delaney on the ride there the other day. It makes me upset because a lot of what you have to do to make something successful is give it hype and brand it and make it accessible for people. So having just a state slapped across something, like, granted, these women make it work. I mean, they really make it work. They look so great. But it really makes fans feel more connected with a team when they have something like the Boston Bruins and the Bear and the New Jersey Devils and the Devil Spark. You know what I mean? Like, I know that's probably a small thing, but I feel like if they all had team names and team mascots, it would have just set them up for a bigger, faster success, I want to say. I mean, obviously, they are doing incredible, but I would have loved names. And who knows, maybe names are coming soon, but I would have loved names. This next one, once again, is not really about the actual game, but it's about how us viewers watch the game. And the NHL has horrible options for how to watch games. It's really frustrating because obviously, so I pay for ESPN Plus, and it's like through Hulu. This is not sponsored, which I can catch a good amount of games, but not all games, which is so frustrating because you never know which games you can watch and which games you may or may not. For legal reasons, obviously, you should never go to illegal websites and watch these games. But I'm just saying, it's hard to watch. The PWHL, there has been a lot of national coverage, which is amazing. And we do have streaming options on YouTube. So that's great. I think the NHL should also have streaming options on YouTube, or at least like a better thing. Like, even if you paid like $1 to join their like YouTube, I don't know, they could make so much money. Even they should do it for free, but in this day and age, nobody does things for free anymore. But that is another difference, is that the NHL just kind of sucks with how they broadcast, and the PWHL is a little more onto it. Other difference is obviously the cup that they get. The NHL gets the Stanley Cup, which I think we've talked about in an episode. I don't know if it's one of the ones I have privated or not, but we can recover that again. But the NHL does have the Stanley Cup, and then the PWHL has the Walter Cup, which we have spoken about. So I definitely recommend checking that out. Okay, the last topic we are going to talk about, the last difference between the two, is checking. Women's hockey has been seen as a lot less physical than men's hockey, and it makes sense because they don't let you body check. But the PWHL is actually changing that narrative and letting people check under specific conditions. So a player can check if they have a clear intent of playing the puck or are attempting to gain possession. But if multiple players are fighting for puck possession, using the boards to eliminate an opponent from play is not allowed. And their goal with this was to bring more physicality to the game, but also keeping players safe, which we obviously love here. We love a good game, but we also love player safety, especially with all the injuries that have been going on, on the ice, stuff like that, having neck guards, wrist guards, all of that. Player safety is important. It's more important than a crazy game or a sick fight. I mean, the fights and the checking are entertaining, so I am actually very glad that they do allow a form of checking. It did make the game very entertaining. So that's my 2 cents on it. But everybody in the hockey community has just been waiting to see how these rule changes kind of play out in the PWHL's first season, which we have talked about is right now, you can say you are older than the PWHL, which is sad, but it's true. But this year, I have been saying it, I feel like it is the year of the women in sports, to be honest. I mean, Barbie did their women in sports line. Obviously, we have the PWHL. There are just so many things happening. I mean, obviously, Barbie, Taylor Swift, just feminism, just females, and I think it's awesome. But also the men here, we love you too. You are just as appreciated and just as targeted. We just like pink, but that doesn't mean it's for girls. We just like pink. Anyway, I was texting my family group chat when I was at the game, and I was like, this is your sign to watch women's hockey, because it was so good. I mean, obviously I've watched it, but being able to work the game and see it from that point of view, it was just so cool. It was really incredible, and I'm so proud of them. Like, honestly, those memes where it's like, I don't care who wins, I'm just happy I'm here or whatever. That's how I feel about the PWHL, because genuinely it's just so cool to see so many iconic and strong women complete these things and be so iconic and be such a staple in women's sports and women's hockey. I really, really hope that the PWHL does continue to take off and get more amazing partnerships and maybe mascots and names and stuff like that. Honestly, I think it's going in that direction. I mean, the rink was filled. The arena was completely filled with people on a Tuesday night in Lowell, Massachusetts. So I think that's a good sign. And it was also incredible to see the young girls there. They brought 2 girls to be interviewed on the Jumbotron, and they said, what do you want to be when you grow up? And they both said PWHL players. So for those girls, I think us older girls and men and just people, we need to give them a chance, because we need to continue to support and promote and better things like the PWHL. We can't let it fail like we have let other women's leagues fail. I think they did have a rocky start, obviously, without the team names and all that, but they are doing so good right now. So good. And I'm hoping that everything goes right so they can just capitalize on this and continue to grow and expand, because it would be so cool to have some more teams across the country, maybe some other ones in Canada. Who even knows? I mean, it would just be so cool. But anyway, thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. I am genuinely so thankful you are here. I cannot believe people actually listen to this. Do you understand how thankful I am for you? Especially if you've listened to the end. You just listened to me ramble for 25 minutes. That's crazy. At this point, we should be best friends. I love you. Anyway, thank you. Thank you for making my dreams come true. Thank you for letting me yap. Thank you for listening, because you listening is promoting women working in sports, which promotes women in sports. So thank you. Just by listening, you are supporting us so much. We are so forever thankful. Shout out to my incredible team. Shout out to my podcast team too, Rachel and Emma. You girls are incredible and have seriously been helping out with the podcast. And anyway, make sure you follow all of our socials. We are very active on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Pinterest, you name it, we're there. And that's all I have to say. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys in the penalty box. Oh, wait, we also have new merch. I just scared my dogs. We have merch. We have new merch. It says meet me in the penalty box. I don't know if I said this last week, but we have new merch. It is gorgeous. It is so cute. It has our signature star on it. It has 333 on it, which is our signature angel number. It has everything. It is so cute. It's unisex. We have sweatshirts, crew necks, long sleeve, short sleeve, we have it all. And in so many colors, black, light gray, dark gray, there's like different pinks, all of that. So it's all our brand colors, super cute. You can get it with the link in our Instagram bio. You can also look up Penalty Box on bonfire.com and find us there. Okay, now I am done. Whew. Thank you officially, and I'll see you guys in the Penalty Box. Bye.
Thanks for tuning into the Penalty Box podcast. Don't forget to connect with us on social media by searching for the Penalty Box. Also, make sure you hit that follow button on Spotify. And if you enjoyed the show, leave us a 5-star review. Until next time, see you in the Penalty Box.